All right. Hey, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Let's take a look at the charts and see what we got today. All right. We're looking at the hourly on the ES. And what we currently see is it is at that important point of resistance here. We got a 53.75 support level. It was right up here at the top of 55.09. It's looking pretty bearish. I mean, could it trade within a range? That's about a $60 range, 53, 40, 54, 54. It could, but if it breaks, it is a big time short today. Big time short. So let's talk about what's going on in the market. The Dow Jones is down over 2,000 points, 5%. Nasdaq is down 962 points. That's over 5%. And the SP 500 is down 176 points. That's 3%. A lot of indices have been pushed into the bear market territory. That means they're going across under the 200 MA again. And the VIX, let's take a look at the VIX index and see what's going on there. I think, as we saw last week, when the VIX explode, the market falls. So the VIX is playing right within a good range here. It's 34, 31. It has some work to do. If it breaks above 34, 35, expect another downturn like we had last week. If it stays range bound, maybe the market turns around and it continues to drop. So we're keeping our eyes on the VIX and see what's happening there. All right, let's take a look at the SPY. SPY again, similar to the ES, it's right there. If the SPY falls, it's a beautiful fall. I mean, beautiful fall if you want to make money on puts, right? And so be looking at the SPY. Take a look at QQQ, same thing. If the tech sector falls, gives it up, it's back down to a short. What else is happening in the tech sector? Let's take a look at Tesla. Tesla's right there. It looks like it could be a bullish explosion to 261, but if it falls before 243, Tesla has some work to do. All right. The tariffs are in effect. We got the 10% universal tariffs on all imports. And then we got a 34% tariff on Chinese goods and a 20% tariff on our European partners. And that all went into effect last week. In the technology sector, let's take a look because Nvidia broke out some news talking about how they're going to be hit hard. They anticipate a $5.5 billion loss due to those U.S. restrictions on AI chip export to China. Now, they reporting this loss, even though we did hear that the administration had eased up some things over the weekend. But again, there is a across-the-board tariff on China, so they will be impacted by that. Let's take a look at Nvidia on the hourly. All right, we got this key level 103, 106. If it breaks 103, it's a beautiful short on Nvidia. Take a look on AMD. AMD, it's 88. We got some support here at 85. So those are definitely two stocks I'll be looking at if they want to fall off. So we looked at Nvidia, we looked at AMD. I think we took a quick glimpse at Tesla and looked at Apple. Again, 3 out of 4 of those are bearish. The market's probably going to be bearish. Apple looks like has pretty good support here. Apple might go up. Had to be very careful about these gaps up, got downs, because even when they gap down, they can hit a good level of support. And it just means there's a whole bunch of buyers there. And buyers could push that price back up here to 214 high. So we'll be looking out for that. As far as the global things, again, China, even though we had this tension all year since the administration been in, China has had a 5.4% growth this year in China in their Q1. A lot of that's due to the weakened dollar, but in United Kingdom, inflation slowed down. They're up 2.6%. The euro is up 2.2% as far as decreasing in inflation. And a lot of that, if you have a weak dollar, and then it's cheaper for them to buy things even with these tariffs. So it ends up being like a net neutral for the countries overall, but it might impact like the companies. And so we'll see that. Gold is at an all-time high. as people look for places to put their money safe. So it's at 3,300. So I'm looking at BABA right now. Something I like to trade as a China and for China news, BABA and PDD. Kind of neutral on it. It got some good resistance at 110 and 111. So I'm probably stick with the semiconductor sector right now. Just easier setups to find. And SPY and QQQ. Now, same thing here. Now, these reverse, obviously, I got a good fall off at 91. I'll put an alert there, and I'll play that back to 87. That's a $3-4 move. That's a good. On a Delta, 70 cents an option contract, 60 cents an option contract. You can $3-4. So 180, you can almost 3x your contract or 2x it. So I'll be looking at BABA, PDD. Let's take a look at SPY and QQQ. Oh, Netflix. Only thing that has big time earnings today is Netflix after market. Netflix been killing it. There's just so many things in the market you can look at. But Netflix is one of your staples, and it's definitely something when they hit 800 down here, 799, you would probably want to get into, or even do a long in. Um, Man, especially after this day. Look at how big that candle is. And it upheld it. Like a lot of the stocks didn't uphold the candle after that last week's big surge on the tweet. But Netflix has ruled it all the way into earnings, and it looks like it. If you look at the charts, no matter what they say on earnings, it looks like this thing is going to explode. So be out on the lookout for Netflix. All right, the only other thing I'll tell you is today is a 2-hour time frame. Looks pretty important for some stocks. So again, I already looked at those: Apple, Tesla on the 2-hour time frame. Visa is another one on the 2-hour time frame that you might want to look at. Some news did break out with Lyft. They purchased a company in Europe. It's going to help their business. But Visa and MasterCard, you always kind of look for confluence like AMD and Nvidia. If they're both going in the same direction, you're pretty confident in the trend. Same thing with Nvidia and Visa and MasterCard. They're both near a level of support, so maybe they can continue to go through it. But it's 516, 519. If it goes 519, 526, that's almost a $7 move on MasterCard to the upside. Of course, if it falls, then you see that there's, once it gets to a certain level, there's a ways to go if it goes continue to the downside. Visa, same thing, real level of support. If it breaks below, probably Visa is probably a little easier. Let's check out oil and gas, XOM. If it gets rejected and goes down with the market, it's a good way to get in. CVX though, but XOM and CVX looking really bullish, but it has some levels of resistance to get through to really take off. All right, so looking at the semiconductor sector, Visa and MasterCard in the finance, and maybe oil and gas, XOM and CVS. All right, hopefully this video has been helpful. If it has, please like and subscribe. I'll check you out in the next one. Be blessed.